Hey folks, and welcome back. Today we are clearing Penumbra and its boss, Absolution. Penumbra is probably my least favorite level in this entire game, and the reason is right here, these colored platforms. These are extremely annoying to deal with. The way they work is that they go red, blue, green. RBG, not RGB. Once you jump off one of them, the next in line will be active. And the game, or this level rather, will make a lot of use out of that. And it can get fairly complicated, especially in higher levels, or higher difficulty levels of this level. As you can see here, this one is a fairly difficult jump to begin with. But the concept behind it is that you want to go red, blue, green, and then basically reset it. And some of the jumps can be fairly tricky. The other issue with this level are these black orbs. The way they work is that sometimes they have an infinite spawner next to them, as you can see that pipe up there, and I'll cover that more in detail in the guide. But sometimes you can just kill them and they're gone. Sometimes they will just endlessly respawn. Couple that with the colored platforms and you have some excruciatingly difficult and annoying platforming sections. The other enemies that we see are these big stationary orbs. Basically, you hit them once, they go inactive for a few seconds, and after a few seconds they become active again. So you need to make sure that you just move on past them during the time they are inactive. The other two enemies that we've seen are these odd orb spherical things. They shoot electricity in 8 directions. Just make sure that you're hiding behind a wall, or that you kill them before they shoot, or just avoid the electricity altogether. It's not very difficult. The other enemy that we've seen is the wizard. It throws a flame forwards and it spreads on the ground. And in here we have the first mini-boss. Unfortunately, I was extremely overpowered at this stage in the game, so we don't really get to see the tactics for it, but I will cover it in my standard runs as well as the guides. But the main idea is that you want to use those rotating reflectors or mirrors to reflect the attacks of one of the bosses to attack the other, or in some cases to attack itself. As you can see, I skipped that chest down there because I had already collected it. This was not my first run on this level. And we simply move to the next section. And in here, sometimes you get switches for these colored platforms, and you need to make use of the switches to clear your way to progress forwards, and sometimes to block the electricity. Just make sure you don't do what I did, and if you're about to attack a switch, make sure that you switch to the next one right away, otherwise it will despawn from under you. The level will have many of these things, so make sure not to get hit by lasers. Another thing I should mention is that you cannot rotate these mirrors by a simple auto attack. You have to actually charge the attack. Get more and more of these. This one's a bit tricky just because they attack extremely fast. You can always take your time. You're not in a hurry. Even when you're doing timed runs, they're not terribly difficult. And here we can see how the endlessly spawning orbs can be a problem, because you're trying to time your movement just right with the lasers, but the orbs are there. So you need to make sure to give yourself some time after you destroy the orbs to jump to the next section. The rest is fairly standard, I believe, nothing too difficult in here. If you have the ability that attacks upwards, great. Which, as you can see, I'm struggling to find out how to use. I did notice that some of these black orbs, these stationary ones, can be in extremely difficult to reach places. And here I was trying to figure out the best combination for these lasers, just so I can make my way up. I think I could have just jumped up instead of doing whatever I was doing. But as you can see, this isn't even the hardest difficulty of this level, and we have to deal with all of this platforming. And here we go, the RBG thing again. There is a much easier way to tackle this. Basically, go all the way to the side. And it becomes a fairly easy and standard section once you get used to it. You don't need to attack this orb at all. And here I was using the spread just for better reach. And just like that, we make it to the final boss of this area. And because this was my first attempt, I died to the boss. So we will be cutting shortly. And there we go. This was the kill for this boss. And this is one of the harder bosses. I believe it is my second hardest boss in this game. Just to start off, he does those arc attacks. You can simply jump or dash between them. They're fairly easy to dodge. And then he does this laser. The way he does it is that it always goes in pairs. One laser, then two lasers. The first laser will be directed right at you. The second one will actually miss you. So you need to jump or move for the first one. For the second one, you need to stand still. And then comes the most annoying part of this boss fight. The circles or the icons in the middle will light up in the same order as the platforms. It will go red, blue, green. The red one will simply shoot fire balls to the left and the right side of it. For the blue, it will shoot those arcs. You simply need to stand in either side of the screen and jump as they fly towards you. And the green one is probably the most annoying one, and you want to kill it as fast as you can. Will spawn those black orbs. And the black orbs will last quite a while. They do go away eventually. You cannot attack them. But while they are on the level or the stage, it can be a bit difficult. And in here, we get the Crushing Void. Again, never found myself using this. And powers in general are just not necessary. There is, in fact, a modifier that removes powers altogether and it gives you more rewards. But either way, folks, this is it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.